Tristan is Officer Nab, the Zombie King.
Hey Tristan, it's Renee Winterstatter.
Hello Tristan, this is Bob Hall.
Hi Tristan, my name's Agnes Garboscon.
Hi Tristan.
Hi Tristan.
Hi Tristan. Hey Tristan, I hope you're doing really well. Hey Tristan.
Hi Tristan, it's Gail.
Tristan, hi, I'm Donnie Cates.
Hey Kristen, this is Tim Seeley.
Hi Tristan, it's George Perez.
Hi Tristan.
Hey Tristan, thanks so much for reading, and I hope you continue to enjoy the books.
Hey Tristan, where the hell are you?
Tristan, where are you?
Tristan, where are you?
Tristan, where are you?
Hi, this is Rags Morales.
Hi, I'm Paul Story.
Hi, my name's Jamie Tindall.
Hey guys, this is Joe Prado. I'm comic book artist Freddie Williams II.
I'm Palmiotti. And I'm Amanda Connor.
I'm Ralph Tedesco from Zenescope, and you're watching Nerdette's Newsstand.
And you are watching Nerdette Newsstand.
Nerdette's Newsstand.
Welcome to Nerdette's Newsstand. You're listening to Nerdette's Newsstand.
Nerdette's Newsstand.
And you are watching Nerdette Newsstand.
Good evening, everyone. We are going to be talking today about all of the massive news that dropped this week. We're going to be talking about James Gunn kind of firing back, which I'm not going to lie, I personally love. And we're going to be talking about just a lot of DCEU stuff. Like, I felt like all week I've been playing video games. It's time to catch up on the DCEU stuff. But Carrie, how are you doing today?
I want to say first in advance, I apologize if you hear a lot of sniffling. I think I'm coming down with something, but outside of that, pretty good. Oh, I know.
We will take care of you. We will be your nurses. How's that?
That sounds good.
So much tease.
Yay. Tea, hydration, and taking care of Carrie, making sure she rests. There we go.
Yes.
Well, hopefully you get better soon. But Jared, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I have a question. Why is it that as DC fans, every week seems like the sky is falling?
Because as DC fans, every week, for some reason or another, the sky is falling. Or that's Batman falling from the sky. One of the two.
Actually going trying to make it that way.
We are actually going through a dark crisis right about now.
Or maybe an identity crisis.
No, actually, we live in the Bendis Superman run.
No!
No, how dare you? Oh, goodness. Yeah, the sky is falling. Speaking of which, I got to get your input on this, Rocky. You liked the Batman 130? You liked the Bat God?
Oh, my gosh.
Why?
Well, just to be absolutely clear, I thought it was Batman 130. I criticized the Uber Batman, but I mean, for what it was well. The art made it just absolutely beautiful. It felt very real and everything else. Of course, it's Bat God. It's obscenely ridiculous, but it's it's Batman, right? I criticized the whole Superman thing. Superman shouldn't have been able to come. I could talk on a lot for this, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm not going to give pushback on the criticism of it. Good Lord. No, it's Uber. Well, I guess Bat God. I say Uber Batman, but yeah, Bat God, same thing. Yeah. Hey, we get that once in a while, right? We get the Bat God. Yeah. We get the more human Batman. We get it on all sides when it comes to Batman. So now it's just Uber or Bat God time. So
is this Detective Comics?
Yeah. No. Batman 130.
Actual Batman. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Chip Zdarsky went full in on Batman falling from the sky.
So he basically he essentially made Titanfall, but Batman.
I didn't see Titanfall. It looked terrible.
Like this way, robots fall from the sky. So I'm like, somehow Batman has become he's that much of a Bat God. He has become a Titan.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this run at all. I think it's really well as far as that goes. But like, this to me was so over the top. I couldn't take it realistically. Like, I like a little bit of Mary Sue in my Batman. He is essentially a Mary Sue, right? I like that in my Batman, but I also, this was just to me so crazy. Jimenez, beautiful art. I'm not going to drop it or anything, but The story's been good. Just this was a little bit too much. Eddie, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be here. Fine to talk about DC.
Yay!
Reboot, maybe. You know what exactly is going on.
I don't either. I don't think anybody does. I don't think James Gunn or Peter Safran knows. I don't think
they're not doing a reboot. They're not doing a reboot. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Like a full.
Why
reboot
do you think so?
They're not doing. They're not doing a hard reboot because here's the thing, and I was telling this on the Nicotina show. Because first off, for the most part, the actors are popular in their current roles. So that's the first part. Second off, they're not gonna take Aquaman away from Jason Momoa because
they already did.
They did, I thought.
He's breaking up.
But
he's out. He has a
mute.
I went completely mute robot for a second.
I was saying, when they confirmed Henry, didn't Gunn come in and say no, that's not true?
Yeah, and it's like, and here's the problem with DC. They have to prove that if they're going to do a complete reboot, give one movie just resolving this universe, and then you can reboot, because you have to prove that you can finish the story. Because right now, as a consumer, as a consumer, I could ask, hey, listen, how do I know that the minute you have one movie that doesn't do well, you're not just going to go, okay, we have to restart this again? I'm like, finish your story, and then you can reboot.
I mean, I think that's fair. Hold on. Before we get into the whole reboot topic, let me get Robert's super chat. Robert, thank you so much. Tris, I beat the game already just a little while ago. I plan on doing the DLC next, then I'll jump on Blackgate Origins. I have not seen that, so I am curious to see what happens. So you guys can now see the game and what it's like. Then Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and finally Arkham Knight. Try to keep up. There's no way. I don't stream as often as you, but I do. I love Arkham Origins at Christmas time. It was such a perfect game to start next. And then I think we'll go back to The Walking Dead. But I love Arkham. Any Arkham game is. There's Batman games, and then there's video games. Like there's Walking Dead, Batman, and everything else is just noise. Come on now, let's be real here. Okay, hard reboot. I'm on the fence with this because soft reboot.
I think they're gonna go more toward what DC Rebirth did, where they keep what, because in that thread, James Gunn himself said we're gonna respect what works and I guess not respect what didn't work. So I'm like, that tells me soft reboot. That's what that is.
Rebirth was great.
Yes, it was.
Like literally calling out Wonder Woman. She's like, I defeated the God of War. I shouldn't have done that. Because that was one of the major criticisms for the new 52. And she became the God of War and all that stuff. And it turns out, boom, he's alive.
Yeah.
Just in a cave somewhere.
She's never been to Themyscira.
Well, here's my general observation. We got Snyder fans pissed. We got Wonder Woman fans pissed. We got the general audience pissed, and they haven't actually confirmed or said anything.
Yeah.
He's repeatedly doubled down. He has said some of the rumors are true, some of them are not. Some people would be disappointed. And now let's get to the real root problem. Like, what is the actual thing that's really upset some people? They have a plan. That seems to upset some people. It doesn't upset me at all. They need a plan, and now they have a plan. And so, if that means saying goodbye to Patty Jenkins because she's pissed off and she's sending people to Wikipedia to Google what character arc means after that deplorable showing of Wonder Woman 1984, I don't care. Good riddance. Goodbye. I don't care if that means we don't get a Joker too. I don't care. Give me a plan. Give me a cohesive universe. I come from a comic book bias. DC Rebirth was mentioned. I like a plan. I would even go so far as to sacrifice some potentially high box office movies. I would rather have a plan, just like at Marvel. Give me a string of 10 DC movies making over 600-700 million, as opposed to don't give me 20 mediocrity CW knockoffs that make $164 million like Wonder Woman 1984 did worldwide. And then
that was a little different.
Yeah, okay, it's a completely horrible movie.
Yeah, false. We know I have bad opinions. That's okay. I like bad movies.
Oh gosh.
But would you be okay with them, Rocky, with that idea? I agree. Would you be okay with them getting rid of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman then?
Straight up, Yes, I have like Gal Gadot is like she's beautiful, but am I okay if they get rid of her? The reason, yes, I'm okay if they get rid of anybody if they're going to start over, because anybody can be like, I love Henry Cavill as Superman, I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but if they're starting over, I mean, people seem to forget that there's a lot of beautiful people on the planet. Like really gorgeous women that can play Wonder Woman. There's pretty looking muscular men that can play Superman. This is not the end of the world because suddenly DC decides they have a plan and they want to cater to as many people as possible. So, here's my theory, and this is not my own. It's been said by many others. It's easy. We have the Flashpoint movie coming out. Just rework the ending of Flashpoint. It shouldn't cost that much. At the end of Flashpoint, you got a new universe, you got a new multiverse, and then just switch to a different planet to tell your stories. Problem solved. This isn't rocket science. These problems are dealt with in comic book stories all the time. It's not that much. It's not that much more difficult when you're doing movies, unless they tell themselves it is. But it isn't.
There's one problem with that though, because the target of these movies really is the general audience. It's not us. So the general audience can be like, wait a second.
It can be
why
both.
should I care? No, but what I mean is that the majority of because let me put it this way. Chances are the comic book fandom is not going to push these movies all the way to like $1 billion, let's say. You need the general audience. I see what you mean. Okay. On board. So the thing is that if you say we're going to reboot it, the general audience is going to say, then why the hell would I watch Flash and Aquaman if they're not going to matter?
Because they might be a good movie. People want to be entertained.
Yeah,
not everybody cares about a cohesive universe.
Yes, but if you market it as a cohesive universe, and then you say, okay, so now these movies aren't going to matter anymore, people are going to be like, why the hell would I watch it? Why the hell would I watch She-Hulk? Because the whole thing doesn't matter anymore.
Because it's fun.
Exactly.
True, but again, the general audience is
I am the general audience.
No, I'm saying the non-comic book audience.
I'm barely a comic book audience. I've only been reading comics since 2017. I'm still considered the general audience.
No, but I'm saying the people that have no idea the people who ask me, is Batman on the Avengers? Because that question comes up, by the way. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's just idiotic.
well, yeah, I agree with you.
I shun those people.
I shun those people too. But my point is 100% no, they're not going to do a complete reboot also, because guess what? All these actors are pop for the most part, except for Ezra, are popular in their roles. Quote, remember how the internet reacted when Henry Cavill said, I'm back as Superman. So my point is, they're not going to recast everyone except for the Flash, but we already knew that was happening, because they know, okay, if we do this, the people are going to be like, wait a second, I like Gal as Wonder Woman, I like Ben as Batman, I like Henry as Superman. They're not going to do that.
But Ben's not Batman.
He isn't.
Michael Keaton was in that universe.
Not anymore.
Both of them are.
His whole thing has been eliminated. But
they've said there's only one.
I would say though that I go back to my idea that, well, this is James Gunn's idea because he's working toward a plan. Him and Saffron have a plan. Any plan, if they put together a plan, don't tell me it's not possible to reconcile all these different movies. It is possible. If Jeff Johns can go and rework a whole slew of characters in the DC universe, you can do it in the movieverse. I mean, challenge accepted. Step up to the plate. Warner Brothers has never had a plan. Snyderverse wasn't a plan. It wasn't a plan. Don't tell me it was a plan. It wasn't.
It was a plan that they undermined.
Also, Warner Brothers before has never had a department dedicated solely to superhero movies. They do now.
That's true.
That's a very different scenario than before. And now, I mean, we got way more characters at play, way more at stake, and we got people dedicated to it that are coming up with a plan. And right now, look, I'm sure I'm not going to like everything, but I got to tell you, before all this news and the months coming up, I mean, I got to tell you that when I'm hearing that Joker 2 is coming out, and let's just give it to Lady Gaga because she wants to make a freaking musical. I mean, come on, like that's not a plan. But I mean, don't get me wrong, they're probably going to do it. But at least if you have a multiverse if you train the general audience to understand the DC universe, like we comic book readers understand a DC crisis, that there's a multiverse out there, you can make a Joker 2 work. You can make it because you can have. Wouldn't that be cool as the audience gets more educated, like they are being more and more educated with the MCU, which has its own problems because surprise, they don't have a plan for phase 4. See a pattern here? I mean, this is not the end of the world. And I just think a little bit of, a little bit of intelligence put into this, and go to the writers who've written the comics, go to the guys that know what they're doing, and women that know what they're doing.
That worked horribly for DC when they had Jeff Johns in charge of anything.
How did it work horribly?
Real fast.
I guess I don't know that story.
Well, he was one of the co-writers of 1984, right?
Yeah, that movie rocked.
And
it was
the characters that Jeff Johns specifically is. He's one of the few characters that Jeff Johns cannot write. Is Wonder Woman.
Oh, I do agree there. That's his weakest character, but Jeff Johns is kind of
it's
amazing, like one of our generation's best writers. If we're going to put our faith into somebody, wouldn't that be where you would go?
Not to write a movie, to plan out the universe and say, here's how things lay out in the DC. Yeah, but to write a movie, absolutely not. Unless, of course, it's Stargirl, because he created the character. So if there's anyone that knows that character, it's Jeff Johns.
Eddie, what do you think? Soft reboot, hard reboot, Snyder Brony? Obviously, you can tell who that is in the group.
Snyder Brony.
I think
one thing to say about that too is, trust me, even though I mostly talk about that side of DC, all those people
I can't hear
me
anything.
Because
what? I can hear him. Yeah, he's good.
For some reason, I can't hear him for some reason.
Yeah, no, that's
it's always
really
you,
weird.
Jared. The problem's always you.
It's usually me.
And I was gonna say, yeah, Carrie's doing. Wait, it just said, did my audio go weird?
Yes.
There was
for
like
a second. But we understood what you meant. Now I gotta make sure my Wi-Fi's on point. I'm scared.
What's going on? Okay, am I good now?
You're good now.
I hear you.
Okay. All right, Eddie, I'm so sorry you didn't get to talk. Go ahead. Tell me what you think.
Oh, no, but yeah, the Snyder fans hate me. That's all I have to say. But going back to the soft reboot, hard reboot, it's weird, too, because I support all that stuff, but I call out all the toxicity, so that's why they hate me. But no, I don't know what it is, though. It could be a soft reboot, a hard reboot. I hope to God it's not a hard reboot. A clean slate, a recast all around. It's just that, look, I've grown attached to the DCU. Used to be called the DCEU, and I like certain stories set within the universe. Some of them I do not. BVS is a great example. I don't like that movie at all. But again,
it's terrible.
These characters developed, they expanded their arcs. And seeing that just get wiped away. Look, the Flash movie, I was one of those people saying, don't worry about it. It'll probably be like a soft reboot. But after that Hollywood Reporter article, I was like, shit, maybe no Man of Steel 2, no Wonder Woman 3, Jason being recast as Lobo. It's like, what the hell is going on with James Gunn? I mean, I like him and Peter, but it's like, you're starting to scare me. But again, I'll support it either way because I'm a DC fan. But again, I hope they keep the foundations. I hope they can keep the actors. And again, when it comes to whatever reboot they have in store, again, they can say a reboot, but what they mean could be like, no, we're rebooting the overall story we wanted to tell in the future. I'm pretty sure with when Hamada was still in charge, they wanted to do Crisis. They were leading up to Crisis on the Infinite Earths on the big screen. So if anything,
they had to introduce 90% of the characters.
I don't know. I asked Hamada and again. But hearing that, it's like, well, maybe James Gunn's like, nah, we're not gonna do that, bro. And we're also not gonna have Michael Keaton as the main Batman either. And I hope to God that second was true as well. But again, we just gotta wait and see what happens.
Let me get this super chat real quick. Robert, thank you so much. Jeff Johns had to scramble to fix Justice League while it was mid-production. It was an impossible task for anyone to do. Right, because it was originally done by Zack Snyder, to my understanding. And I didn't mind. Zack Snyder's version of it was much better. Much more. Like the stuff that he did with Cyborg, especially,
1984
was wonderful.
Was better than Justice League. Let me put it that way.
That is factual information. You heard it here. He produced. Okay, so Shazam was one of the best DCU movies, so that's good. Aquaman, same. Wonder Woman, same. Apparently, he left Wonder Woman 84 partway through to work on Stargirl. So
no, he corrected it. He corrected it in a later comment. It was Wonder Woman 3. He left partway through.
Okay, so all of the movies except for one you don't like, but he ruined it. I don't get it.
No, but what I'm
Shazam is one of the best movies. Aquaman, those 3 movies alone are the top 3 movies in the DC universe, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, true. But my point is that he didn't write those. Producing is different than writing the actual movie.
Mm-hmm. Right, but he still was on track with it. He produces.
I'm fine with him guiding the story. That's totally fine.
Oh, okay.
I just don't want him actually writing it, because writing for film and writing for comics is 2 very different things.
Yes, bring Brian Edward Hill in. I just had him on the channel. He writes Titans. He brought Titans from a terrible 3rd season to one of the best shows out by DC right now.
Oh, God.
Are you watching Titans? Yes, finally somebody else.
I've always loved Titans.
It's great.
He's not valid anymore. Get out of here.
No,
I'm a Snyder fan. My opinion is never valid on panels. Trust me. I'm used to it.
No, but like Titans this season, Brian has brought in Brother Blood, Mother Mayhem, brought in that very dark magic aspect of the DC universe that gets ignored much of the time. Like, we don't even have an ongoing Justice League Dark right now. So I'm happy to see it. And he's doing such a good job. Bring him in. He is such a great talent and such a great dude, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to see it.
I would just add though that
go ahead.
One of the things that I find to be problematic is when I hear comments like for example, I'm not watching Titans, and I probably should be because I'm a huge DC fan.
Really good.
But I've watched Doom Patrol. The problem is Titans is potentially an A-list multi-box office movie smash hit if they do it right. But you've ruined it because you've muddied the waters. You've made it now part of TV streaming. Just like DC absolutely shit the bed with their CW 16 years of losses of terrible crap. I know you probably love this, and some people like a few issues of Arrow or a few episodes of this or that. The problem is that you got to figure out in this, you got to put your A-listers in the movies, and you got to resist the temptation of oversaturating the market so you can check off a box or do this or do that.
Right.
You got to keep your A-listers for the movies, and that takes discipline. And I'm not sure that Warner Brothers or Discovery has that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, because obviously Teen Titans got greenlit, and it wasn't canceled, and obviously it's good to hear that it's a good show, but it's still problematic to me because I
get
it. See Titans I want to see it I want to see it in the theater. I want it to have $100 million worth of special effects. I don't want it to be on a TV streaming thing that I might accidentally end up watching. It's just, I don't know, it's frustrating.
But
that would force their hands.
But what's interesting about Titans is that for the small amount of budget it actually has, the CGI does not look that bad.
No, and it would force their hand to give the Batman an actual Robin on screen, which I would love to see. I wonder how they would do it. Like maybe start later in his career, not year 2, like we got with the Batman. I would like to see how they do it, but that would automatic. What's
soft
that?
Reboot, which is why it's a soft reboot, because what they can use Flash for is to change it so Jason Todd's the dead Robin, and then Dick Grayson has always existed. So you could have Ben Affleck, and
I thought Ben Affleck was done.
No, he's coming.
He said he was done.
He filmed stuff for Aquaman. He filmed,
but
stuff
it got cut.
What I take that as is that they're experimenting with all the different cuts to see which is more popular and what they're going to do. But my point is, whoever the Batman is, all they have to do, that's why I say they're going to, if they do a soft reboot, just change who the dead Robin is and you have Nightwing. That's it. You're good. And then you can actually do an Under the Red Hood live action movie, which I would pay for.
I would too. Absolutely. And then eventually you could lead to a point where you had Jason team up with the Outlaws. That would take a lot of time down the work. But one thing that really interests me that James Gunn tweeted out was a picture of the Kingdom Come universe.
Yes.
How? But okay, I love Kingdom Come. It's one of the best. I mean,
The most
probably
gorgeous book in DC's history.
And probably I would even say Mark Waid's best work, and Mark Waid's got a lot of great books. But how is he going to do Kingdom Come and have a cohesive universe?
Exactly.
Easy.
When they're old.
You use that to end this universe. Just make that the last one in this continuity, and then reboot it. Just say it takes place pre-Flash. You're good to go.
It's not a bad idea.
I made a case since
or
it's like
you can use this when you decide. Let's say they intend to keep the actors for a time period. Use this as like the last swan song for Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot. If they use them, Ben Affleck as Batman, because at that point they will be old enough to make that actually work really well.
What were you gonna say, Eddie?
Oh no, I was gonna make a case because I said it myself. I mean, it's supposed to be a 10-year plan, so like the end of the 10-year plan is when they do something like that. I mean, Cavill will be like,
that's when they should do it.
The so-called 10-year plan is over.
I actually got a question for you guys. What are your thoughts on Gunn apparently wanting the shows and the games connected with the movie?
Okay, that's gonna.
I was so happy. I was so
very
happy.
careful about this because you don't want to put you don't want to put key plot points in the movie. I mean, in the games, because for people that don't play games, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna be like, "Who the hell is that person?"
But I don't think you should have that at all. It's too much. You're gonna have to use the multiverse.
MCU.
I agree with you. I think it's a dumbass idea, but they're gonna do it anyway. So I'm saying, if you're gonna do it, at least be very, very, very careful how you do it.
Come on, guys! It worked for Star Wars, and Lucasfilm was doing it with Battlefront and Jedi Fallen Order and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you didn't really need to play Battlefront to know what was going on in the movie.
No, you didn't.
Like I said, there were I mean, the same thing for animation. There's Clone Wars, Ahsoka, and those characters being brought to live action. I mean, that's something,
But
right?
see,
Animation and video games.
What I just don't want them to do what the MCU is doing, where everything, even on Disney Plus, connects everything. So you have to watch everything in order to get the entire story, because, like Tristan said, not everybody plays video games. Not everybody is,
they'll just read the summary. They'll just watch the playthroughs.
I think he did confirm some of the stuff to be separate.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said not all of it's going to be that way, only some.
Oh, okay. Well, then that I think it is doable. And it can all technically be connected, and it's multiverse theory, right?
Can I ask you guys a question? Because I don't play video games, but this is my I'm video game ignorant, so I just know what I see online. Okay, so let me say that up front. But I don't know what that means. What so color me an idiot. That's all right. What does James Gunn mean? Because don't we like for Star Wars, which was cited as an example? I feel like there's hundreds of Star Wars video games. Isn't that kind of connected to the movies? It kind of builds on the narrative. It kind of doesn't. It's kind of alternate extended universe. It kind of isn't. Like, what the hell does he mean? Like, so we end up with a Kingdom Come movie. It's a 10-year plan. It culminates in Kingdom Come. Well, so you have a video game connected to that. How is that different than what DC's done that in the past? Like, I don't really, I mean, or hasn't it? Or I mean, hasn't there been so you have a Batman v Superman or whatever, Wonder Woman, pick your favorite DC movie so far. All right, so you have a video game with it. We have the Suicide Squad movie, and then we have Suicide Squad versus the Justice League. It's not really connected, but it's kind of connected. So what if the storyline's connected? I'm not really sure I see that being something that's going to help. I don't know. Maybe you can explain it to me. I don't know.
What they can do, here's what Star Wars does. They use the games to add to the story, but they don't include like key plot points that you need to know to understand the movies. It's like let me put it this way. I could watch all like 6 movies of Star Wars. Yes, I said 6 movies, and not play Battlefront at all and still understand the basic plot of Star Wars. That's why I'm saying they have to be very careful not to put any of the, like, you have to play this game to understand, like, say, a Wonder Woman movie. You can't do that because the audience that doesn't play games but sees the movies is going to be like, the hell is this?
But you can also do it in the way of, like, So if you're reading Batman right now and you've read the failsafe storyline, you didn't necessarily need to read Joker War. It came before, sure, but you didn't need to read it. You could do it in that sense too, a timeline. And they're kind like, we just got the Game Awards, and we had I love that Kevin Conroy is back and voicing Batman. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and it's also so damn confusing. Because is this an extension of the Arkham timeline?
It is. And I'm exactly as confused as you are, Tristan.
Okay, so if that's the case, then was there 2 Hush versions of Deadshot?
Yeah, that's true.
I think they allude that the Deadshot from Arkham Origins and City was an imposter, and the one in Suicide Squad is the real one. Yeah, an imposter.
That actually makes sense because I'm pretty sure they had some weird wasn't it in Arkham City where they had some weird imposter Deadshot, and we ended up fighting Hush.
I can't recall.
I know it's been too long since I played City, but I mean, I don't see how it could we obviously knew when Injustice came out. That was its own thing. That's a side thing. It's a great comic to some of the best video games out there. I love still going back and playing that, but it didn't fit in with the main universe, and we knew that.
Meant to.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't meant to. I like those kind of things every once in a while, right? I like having something that's standalone. I think the multiversal aspect of it, because DC does lean into multiverse stuff a lot more.
And they invented it, so.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to use that. I don't, even for the animated stuff, even when they were trying to do better animated stuff, when they connected them all, we weren't worried about watching the regular movies, right? We just watch the animated ones. So I think there's a better idea in there of connecting all the games or all the animated stuff or all the live stuff, live action stuff, instead of intertwining everything. And people, the normies, like you were talking earlier, Jared, they'll check out if they've got to know this, that, this, and that.
Can I add on one thing?
Yeah, of course.
To this whole here's my only concern with him saying that it's all going to be connected. MCU did this with What If, and there was a whole bunch of people who were like, "Oh my god, I have to watch What If before I watch the next Marvel movie." And then What If had nothing really directly connected to any of the Marvel movies, so there was a frustration there. People are like, "Well, wait a minute, this Doctor Strange episode had nothing to do with multiverse madness."
Yeah, so Carrie, you make. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Carrie.
No, I'm done. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that you allude to a very important point, that one of the things that, as an example, that the Marvel Cinematic Universe did so good leading up to Endgame is that we, as the audience, we had so much faith in what Marvel was doing, the MCU. We didn't feel it was our place to tell them, ask them if they had a plan. We felt they had a plan. We knew they had a plan. We felt we knew what the rules were, and we felt.
Bianca, you having a party?
Oh, really?
What's that?
I said, is Bianca having a party? Holy shit!
My mom's just talking on the phone. She's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. My point is that the problem now is that we don't have the confidence in DC because DC was all over the place. DC's had some good movies, they have, but they'll have a $1 billion movie followed by one that makes 200 million. Then they'll have one that makes 400, and they're all over the place, and there's no plan. And so when you don't have a plan, it invites people and critics like us, having this, all of us here, we all seem to think that we know what the best plan is. It shouldn't be up to us. We should have confidence enough in DC or in Warner's Discovery that they know what they're doing. And I'm choosing to have faith in James Gunn. And so James Gunn, he rightly said, look, some of you are right, some of you are wrong, some of you are going to be disappointed, but just know that, have faith that we are going to have a plan and we're going to stick to it. And you know what? I'd rather have somebody with a plan than somebody that throws, 10 pieces of shit at a wall and only 2 stick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing.
I agree.
I want someone in charge of DC that Warner is not going to interfere with, because part of how we got to this point in the very beginning, of the DCEU, was because they brought Snyder in. They said, okay, build a DCU. He said, okay,
yeah,
cool.
no, you could end the sentence there. They brought Snyder in.
No, but he made the movie, but then they undermined him after like what happened with BVS and everything. They made him cut half hour out of the movie and stuff. My point is that they have, which I think Zaslav is going to do, they have to support whatever James Gunn's plan is, because when you undermine it, that's how you get a DCU where it's going everywhere.
Undermine in the way of like being an editor and undermining and making sure continuity is fluid.
No,
or do you mean like changing plans?
I'm saying undermining, like, okay, so let's say I go to let's say I pitch a DCU. I say, okay, so here's my plan. Here's what I want to do. I want to have this. I want to have this. I want to have this happen. Warner Brothers checks off on it and says, okay, the plan's good. I release my movies, and then Warner Brothers go, okay, so we don't like your plan anymore. Change this, completely re-alter it on the fly right now. Even if objectively the plan is doing well. My point is, what Warner Brothers did in the past is that if the plan was not meeting their unrealistic expectations, then guess what? They're like, no, okay, we're going to completely undo this. We're not going to have a connected universe anymore, or we're going to have some stuff connected or not connected. I'm just saying, take a direction and commit to it.
I think this is a great question too. What does this mean? I know you're not a comics guy, Eddie. I'm sorry. What does this mean for comics as a whole?
Nothing. He's not in charge of the comics.
I was going to say, I don't think a whole hell of a lot.
I'm not really a comics guy.
Big problem.
I'm not really a comics guy, but I'm pretty sure James Gunn said he's not really going to be that much involved with the comics that much.
That's not his job description.
Yeah.
But on the one hand, James Gunn, he's more familiar with the comics than any other. We are so lucky to have James Gunn there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's the thing. It's a double-edged sword. I love the Suicide Squad. I mean, I really love that movie. And naturally, something that which I love, most people don't, and it didn't do well at the box office. I will concede that. And it's unfortunate. But what I will say about James Gunn is that he is familiar with DC source material, and he's not afraid to do his research and his reading. And it was a funny movie. It was a good movie. And I'm just hoping that he can translate his really fun, interesting interpretation of those obscure C and D list characters. I wonder what a James Gunn Superman-led story will look like. You know, we got a Kevin Feige MCU. What does a James Gunn Saffron DC universe look like? Saffron is really great with his own skill set. We got James Gunn with his knowledge of comics, and he's really great. You could argue that James Gunn put MCU on the map with the Guardians of the Galaxy outside the box. So, I mean, maybe some of that magic can work for the DCU. So,
what about Peacemaker? Look what he did with that.
Yeah, but just don't make everything comedy.
Peacemaker.
Don't make anything like crazy comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't want.
There's a time and a place.
I don't want Superman dropping F-bombs every 30 seconds. So I
no.
Which I don't think he'll do.
No.
I think the good thing about James Gunn being a fan is that hopefully he knows when it's appropriate to do that, which characters it's appropriate for, and which characters you can't do that.
Let me get this super chat real quick. Thank you so much, Robert. The biggest problem with the Snyderverse is his plans would have ended the universe with the third Justice League movie because it had such a finality. Let me get the rest.
As such.
There wouldn't have been much of a DCU when he was done. That would have started over regardless. That is true. I'm sorry. I know you like him, but oh my God, his plan was terrible. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I respond to that one point? So two things. Number one, the whiteboards that we got were already changed. Second off, he pitched it like, okay, here's why. Okay, yes, it would have ended, but the story would have been done, and he pitched it. So, okay, you can reboot after I'm done. In fact, Snyder recently did an interview where he said, I imagined it like a comic book run. I come on, I tell a story with these characters, and then I move on. Someone else comes on and does it. In other words, you would have had a definitive beginning and end, and then someone else can go on and like continue on, because there's one thing DC is known for, it's constant reboots. So it wouldn't have made a difference.
Right, and I understand that, but that's not what you want necessarily. Like, you don't want that quick of a story, and that's why it was so.
Would it have been that quick though?
I mean, yeah, kind of. You got like what, 4 movies? Like you've got
anyhow.
Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League, and Justice League 2. Like
if
that's
you look
4
at the
movies.
slate, you had a Nightwing movie, you had a Wonder Woman trilogy, you had Aquaman, you had there were significant. See, the Snyderverse that he pitched was more than just his movie, so it
You
would have
can
been a
talk,
lot
Eddie.
more
I
than that.
promise. It's okay. That was so bad.
By the way, Zach himself admitted that was stupid, and he changed that.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I was
he
gonna
did.
say,
I know he did.
who cucks Superman? Who does that?
Someone
You're
that
most
wants to get heat visioned in the face. That's who. That's who.
And then from my understanding, wasn't Batman having a daughter? And
No.
who was taking over Batman? Was it that kid that Lois had with Superman?
Yeah, he was gonna essentially become
that's what
Batman.
I thought.
Because there's gonna be because apparently in the final plan there was going to the kid was gonna grow up without any powers, so you wouldn't have like a Superman kid with in a bat suit. It would eventually, and then he would take over as Batman as like
again,
a tribute,
stupid.
as a tribute to Batman. Because remember, Batman essentially dies at the end of the whole thing.
All right. Well, you do you, James Gunn. I mean,
you could say, Tevia, that he would have been a super
I hate
son.
it. Oh my God! Stop it! You're trying to change his mind by saying that.
I have to do that because on every stream, Tevia brings up the super son, so I have to do that.
Speaking of which, everyone should make sure they go to my last video. Comic Boom, Bianca, Carrie. Eddie, you're not a comic guy. Jared, go vote. You'll understand what I mean when you get there.
Oh yes.
Not too many DC and Marvel, but I read comics.
Hey, all comics are comics. That's all I care about.
Well,
but
I have one. See, it's interesting looking at the differences between the MCU and the DC cinematic universe right now. The MCU put themselves in a corner at the end of Endgame because they got rid of Iron Man, they got rid of Captain America, and then they found themselves having essentially to start over again in some real ways. And it seemed natural for them to sort of explore legacy characters. And Phase 4 has been generally perceived as a failure for them for a number of different reasons, because it's perceived that Marvel doesn't really so much have a plan anymore. And I'm wondering if DC comes up with a 10-year plan and it ends with if it ends with Kingdom Come, I kind of like the idea of working toward a Kingdom Come, because I think in so many ways Kingdom Come is, the plot line of Kingdom Come being about this new age of heroes that are very narcissistic and are very, they're apt to kill and use lethal force, and Superman, this old-fashioned hero whose ideas are outdated, and he's finally returned to the forefront after being alone in the Fortress of Solitude, and he's abandoned humanity because they chose Magog over him when the Joker killed Magog after just killing Lois Lane and the Daily Planet. And I think the storyline has so much potential. But I think one thing that the movieverse has to learn, and Marvel learned this, and Disney's learned it, and DC has to learn this, is that when you're in the movies, it's a hell of a lot easier when you're a comic book company to reboot a comic book universe than it is to reboot a movie universe.
Right.
It's a hell of a lot easier, and it's a lot less costly. And so I do have some sympathy. So I'm sitting here and I'm being a smartass and I'm criticizing, all kinds of different moviegoer or movie makers, but I do absolutely have some sympathy for them and even especially the MCU, because Phase 4 is a mess. But what is their plan? And how can you have a plan? You can never use Iron Man again? Really? You mean future generations can never get a Tony Stark, can never get a Captain America, can never get
Black
Panther. Rogers?
They need a crisis.
Yeah, exactly. Do you really want to not have a Superman? Is all we have to look forward to in the DC universe moving forward is a John Kent or a second generation, a third or fourth? What, you know what I mean? Like these are legitimate questions that have nothing to do with politics, have nothing to do with, anything that ruffles people's feathers, but these are legitimate questions. And so, but all this to my central point, James Gunn's point, we're working on a plan, guys. Give us some time to breathe. We'll let you know what the hell we're doing when we figure it out. Thank you very much.
And I think I like the idea that James said that Superman was a priority. It felt like
the
he hasn't
number
been
one
a
priority.
Yes, it felt like Superman hasn't been a priority in so long. When did Man of Steel come out? I'm sure you'll know the year. 2013.
I know
10 years ago.
I know because I have like 8,000 rants on my channel about it.
Well, 10 years ago. And he hasn't really and that horrible iteration of Superman. We need, and I know Henry Cavill's been openly saying it just as much as we have, an aspirational superhero.
That we were always going to get as in Man of Steel 2. That was the original plan.
It would just taken time, and that's not what I get it, character arcs. Send me a Wikipedia. I get it. but that's not how you don't start off Superman as this murderer.
We'll have a debate on that later, because trust me, I can go on for an hour about how he is actually hopeful in Man of Steel. But I don't think the general audience saw it that way. No, that's the thing. And I'm not saying it was poorly crafted or anything like that. I'm just saying we need an all-star Superman. Not obviously dying. I just mean that aspirational version. We need a Superman that sits next to a little girl just because. We need a Superman that is something like, what was it? The Warren Johnson wrote, what was it? Generations in Batman Blue and Red or Superman Blue and Red. Right. We need that Superman, and we need the one we can look up to. Now, honestly, as divided as our world is, more than ever, one that reteaches people in a very small way, even if it's just in a small way, and how to be empathetic and have compassion.
And just to build on what you're saying, Tristan, one of the things that's it's very tropey for me to say, but it's been said a lot in comic books and when we review comics. One thing about DC Comics is when Superman is being written well in comic books, the rest of the DC universe just feels a little bit better. Yeah, so where Superman goes, the line seems to follow, which is very ironic. Batman is the big seller. And so, and what's curious about that is that I look at Batman in the movies. Batman clearly has been very dominant at the movies for DC. And yet the rest, everything's always falling under Batman. And what bothers me about Batman and what Discovery has to understand, and what James Gunn, I think, does understand, is Batman is the most Marvel-like character in the DC universe. Yes. He's the most real. But the rest of the DC universe is pretty much all mythological.
Gods.
I mean, okay, I'm exaggerating. That's not entirely true, I know. But just bear with me. The iconic mythological characters are with DC. But it's probably interesting that Batman is the most popular movie character in terms of box office draw, more so than Superman. But I still maintain, building on your point, Tristan, that if they get Superman right, and they got him right at one time in the mid-1970s with Christopher Reeve, but they didn't have the technology, nor the times weren't ready for superhero movies, and the technology wasn't there. They're ready for a Superman now, and if they get Superman right, James Gunn has it right. They nail Superman, the rest will follow.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I think of a lot of the very basic human lessons that Superman teach, that he instills in people, is so relevant to everyone. To, with not getting political or anything, but with social media, it really fucks with people, right? You've got kids upset that they're getting cyberbullied. You've got adults getting false flag campaigns, just saying. You've got people harassing people, trolling people. I do my fair share of trolling, but never in like this horrible, malicious way.
Interesting fact. Do you know what's the best storyline if you want to understand Superman?
All-Star.
Nope. Injustice. Hear me out on this.
Oh, Lord.
No. Hear me out. I actually have
no wonder you're a Snyder fan. Okay. I'll let you
hear me out on this. Because when you look at when I talk to people that don't read the comics and don't understand Superman, they always say, "What's so special about him? He's like invincible and nothing phases him." We know that's wrong, but when you look at Injustice, all right, Injustice shows us what Superman could be. What we see now is that it makes you more of a Superman fan, because the mainstream Superman, here's a dude that has all the power in the world, but chooses to serve and protect us instead of rule us. Because typical logic is that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Superman is the complete refutation of that.
Yeah. Superman is basically the opposite of everything bad. And the great thing about Superman is he doesn't have to think twice about that, situation. He always does the right thing every single time.
And just to build
I love that.
And just to build on Jared's point, the Injustice story is very good. And by the way, I think Injustice was the best comic book written story in the 2010s. It was that good. But also, it's also why Kingdom Come would be a great movie to adopt to the screen, because the Superman in Kingdom Come resists the temptation to become the Superman that he was in Injustice. He refuses to kill Magog, and all of society rejects him because they chose the man who would kill over the man who wouldn't. And
here's the problem, though.
He comes back in order to redeem humanity with the help of Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, in a way that I think is spectacular. That is a timeless tale with a message that, if they nail that for the movie, wow, that could be something.
The problem is that if they do that, I guarantee you the air quote fans will be like, why did Superman step away from humanity? He would never do that.
Well, it depends how it's written. Depends how the story's told.
I know.
Bring in Mark Waid and Jeff Johns. Bring in a couple of those tried and true people that really know these characters.
Not to write it, to basically plot out the story, but I don't want Jeff Johns writing any more movies. Sorry.
Can we get Eddie to speak more? You are being requested.
My bad for that. I'm just used to talking 3 times, and that's it.
I basically, we've got Jared. He's taken off to another stream, so make sure you guys check out his channel in the description. Freaking nerd.
Hey, you're the one that emailed me yesterday going, can you stream? All right, fine.
I'm really bad about it. I really should give a little bit more. Yeah, probably a few days. I'm 24 hours in.
It's all good. It's all good. I have a lot of free time, so I can do that. So,
I really appreciate you, Jared. Have fun on your other stream.
See you guys later. Interesting. We have to collaborate again real soon.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna do humanizing a Snyder fan, because I've been very critical. So I think that's an important step to take in regaining fandom.
Yep. And subscribe to Ladia Plays. He does great work. I'm gonna be on his channel. So
bye, Jared. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
MPause, thank you so much. Marvel burnt themselves out. Warner did not make a decent competitor during Marvel's hype with the first. Is there more? With the first. Hold on, we're bringing it up here. Avengers, and instead acted on blind instinct. As a result, Marvel have sucked all the drive out of the audience, and superhero movies are becoming dry. See, I
told everybody this.
I do think there might be. Thank you so much, MPause. It was actually not super dirty. It's surprising. I do think there can be a reinvigoration of that if we get the right writers, and maybe even having DC fill this void would be new characters to people, new ideas. These are like Rocky said, basically gods among men. And it could fill that void. Do we have to like Eddie's channel? Yes, you have to.
No, you don't have to. You don't want to.
Oh, come on.
But I absolutely think that this is the time to do that. I will say, there are certain pillars, and they've talked about the most important characters. And I think I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. Harley absolutely has to be up there next to Wonder Woman. Like,
I know. I noticed that the two women on the panel, or the other two women on the panel, coughed as you said that. I wonder why.
It's
explain
allergies.
That reaction. Explain that reaction, Carrie, Bianca. I want to know why you
I
hate Harley or what?
disagree.
Why though?
Wonder Woman is godly. Harley is not.
It's kind of like you're comparing apples to oranges, because Wonder Woman's like a hero, and Harley to me is like the Deadpool of the DC universe.
I disagree that Harley is the Deadpool of the DC.
Yeah, I do
she's
too.
Way too. Even if you make her a hero, she still has the whole anti-villainous aura that she has to herself.
Well,
And
if you
so
go
she's
back
no
to the
longer-
comic of Deadpool, he was originally a villain.
Yeah, but so was Deathstroke. The only thing is not comedy related, and that's who he was copying.
So
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that was their whole-
I suggested House of Nerd in my community post to have people go check out, and obviously they have no idea what they're talking about, so I take it back. I know a lot of people. I get this. I get it's an unpopular opinion, but here's the thing: you don't want a whole universe filled with perfection. You want characters like the Suicide Squad, like
for yourself,
Peacemaker.
I like perfection. Thank you very much. That's why we need Vixen. Vixen.
Okay, Vixen, to be fair, would be wonderful. I see Harley, we need we need the Justice League or Justice Society, but it is also really wise to have characters that are a little flippant, a little funny, and you can.
Oh well, you don't think Vixen is funny? Is that what
No.
you're saying? She can't make jokes.
She's so serious, it's ridiculous.
But
What?
does
That
it
isn't
need to just be Harley?
No. Oh, shut up, guys. This isn't fair.
I mean, I feel like Harley right now is being like pushed everywhere, all over everything.
Why?
I just kind of feel like there's other characters too. That
Are you
could have a
seeking her
chance.
out too much? I think it's a you problem. Harley has one book,
I'm not talking
and
about the comics.
She doesn't have one book. She has multiple.
she has one book right now. Okay, two.
Oh,
She
right
has
now
one-
you mean?
No,
Okay,
three.
not overall.
Well, what Harley also has is more exposure than Wonder Woman in the mainstream media. To be quite blunt. I'm
And
sure.
I wonder if that's a bad
Harley-
thing since she's not even in the Trinity.
What did I just say?
Well, I'm
She can
sure,
beat
but
them.
I think the Trinity is. We know the Trinity is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, but I think the Trinity in the mainstream media. I think we could take Wonder Woman, or maybe replace Superman with. We might have Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, and Batman. I mean, Superman seems to be on the outs lately, so I think if we're going to stick to it with three, I think there's always a rotating. There's a rotating.
She's the fourth pillar.
Yeah,
I was gonna
she's
say
definitely
roster.
the fourth pillar, by far the most. By far the most. I mean, she's by far the most appealing, and again, she's sexualized. And she's nice. She's a psychopath. She's both the abuser and the abused. She's the victimizer and the victim. She's the one character that gets away to being all kinds of different kinds of women to every guy. She's the nice woman for the nice guy, and she's also the bitch who will kill you if you piss her off. So I mean, she's got the entire spectrum of behavioral disorders covered, including mental illness, but she can also be nice, and she's a psychiatrist on top of it. So I mean, she can get away with it. Wonder Woman can't. So she's got that one edge.
And another thing about Harley that makes her great is she is her origin story is in a way a cautionary tale, right? About the ability to be manipulated into stuff that you would never agree with before. Now, depending on which continuity, it would depend on if she agreed with it before, the stuff she did in college and all that. But she is, in a way, if you're trying to check boxes, she is somebody that you could use in that sense. I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying I really enjoy Margot Robbie as Harley. If we have to reboot and get another one, fine. But I don't think all the work, honest question here, guys, with all the work that James Gunn put into Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, do you think those are going by the wayside?
What does that mean?
Are they going away? Do you think they're going to
No,
be one?
That's his characters. Why would they go away?
And James Gunn
So
has
I'm
a
gonna get rid of my
wonderful
own
way.
characters and my own movie, guys. This is a tough decision. I don't know.
James Gunn
has him like that.
James Gunn has a wonderful way of taking characters that are B, C, D and making them amazing, like what he did with Ratcatcher 2 or what he did with Polka Dot Man. These characters, barely anybody knew. Polka Dot Man had never even been in the Suicide Squad before. And he put him in, and he made it work. He made the fucking Polka Dot Man work. Like, that's just respect. What do you think, Eddie? I'm trying to make Eddie talk here.
Yeah, come on, talk. I just got here and I'm letting you talk.
No, it makes sense because recently I saw something when James Gunn said, "No, of course I have to put characters like that, obscure characters, because if anything, if I don't do it, then no one else would." Because it makes sense. Like, if it wasn't for James Gunn, we probably never would have gotten that character in live action, never.
Yeah.
So no, that makes.
Did you enjoy
joyful.
Peacemaker?
Oh yeah, I love Peacemaker.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I can't wait for season 2. But no, excuse me. No, I'm excited. Again, no, he's the one that brings in these obscure characters. I mean, that's good. That fleshes out the universe more, expands on it. But again, no, he definitely knows. Trust me, I know how people can be hyperbolic about it. He cares about the Trinity and the other members of Justice League. He just had to wait. That's all you had to do. Just wait.
All right, go ahead, Robert. I know you're chomping at the bit.
Well, I had a couple of thoughts I was going to say, and now most of them are gone because everyone was talking. Oh, we got another tip, by the way, first. I'll do that first while I try to think what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. Let me bring it up here. See, I don't know. I just feel like I don't, and I'm the first person to say, like, I'm kind of sick of the Joker. I think a lot of us are there, right? But I also, at the same point, you can't have Harley's origin without the Joker unless you stick and stay with Margot Robbie, because everyone pretty much knows that story. And I would love, I don't know, I would love to see more of her. I would love to see what they could do and flesh her out. Birds of Prey was fun. It wasn't the best movie, but they could make a Gotham City Sirens. Like, I would love to see her and Ivy. I know I may be alone there, but I absolutely would. M-Pause, thank you so much. My dirty jokes take planning, scripture, and creative flair of perverted proportions. Besides, if I did them too much, they would become stagnant. And I can go too far if I'm not careful. And you don't want to get in trouble for my foul mouth now, do ya? Thank you so much, M-Pause. I appreciate you.
I remember what I was going to say now.
Okay, perfect. But they're still hilarious, M-Pause. Let's be real here.
Well, I could agree to that. But yeah, I think, first of all, with Harley, I definitely think, well, actually, I could agree with you on that one, Eddie. They definitely did rush Harley leaving Joker big time.
Yeah.
But I think that's also because they had a horrible plan with the Joker. I am sorry. That was like
what was his plan?
Not plan. You know, what they came up with, their version of the Joker.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like gangster Joker. Like gangster buddy. Like, okay.
Rock Joker.
And we don't have Jared here. I want to ask, whose idea was that? Was that Ayers or was that Snyder? Because it's hard to tell now.
It is hard to tell. Because there was so much interference.
There was so much interference, and yet Joker, the only interference was how much Joker was used. How Joker was portrayed was there from the get-go. So that's why I have to wonder. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, did you notice, like in the Snyder Cut, the Joker was different than the Ayer Joker in the Suicide Squad movie?
He was worse.
Yeah.
He was worse.
And he was trying to, like, he was trying to, like, make him much more, like, I don't know, serious, but it was worse.
And then they mentioned they killed Harley off screen.
Yeah.
Because it was Leto still doing it. I'm sorry, Leto was not a good choice.
Well, you're not going to get Leto back because Gunn doesn't like Leto, personally.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing I was going to say, though, when it comes to Superman, we need a Superman that is inspirational, showing off the hope of it. It worked with the Reeves. And I'm sorry, the big problem with Man of Steel, and I know I'm saying this with Jared not here, but I got to say, is that The big problem is that you're making people, this new generation, like the wrong version of Superman. You're making them like the ass-kicking Superman, who's more willing to kill, take names, and is doubting himself way more, to the point where by the time you do, if Snyder had done his plan, it would have eventually, I'm positive, it would have led to people being like, "What'd you do? You made him boring. Make him back more interesting again."
Yeah, to my understanding, most of the Snyder people don't want the big blue Boy Scout, right?
They don't.
And
they hate it.
Not all, obviously, but that is what I love. And that's also why I said, like, when it came to the Shazam movie, that, you know, like, that was a great movie. It was happy. It was fun. It was upbeat.
Oh boy.
You walked out of the movie theater and you were happy. You know what I mean? That's just how you should be reacting to a Superman movie. That's the reaction you want, that uprising in your chest. That's what you want to inspire your audience to.
Oh, that's the other. Further, we got someone in the chat saying apparently Gunn is shit.
Oh, Gunn is. I was lobbying for Gunn before this was announced. I said it's gonna be him. It's gonna be him, and I think it's gonna be awesome. And I'm glad.
Exactly.
I'm glad he got this chance to do it. I just hope we get a fleshed out universe. I don't know where you think you would start with Wonder Woman, because if this is soft reboot, if we have no Gal Gadot, we have a new actress, it doesn't matter who she is, you would have to start with like Perez run, right? We would need an explanation.
Start in the now. And I think here's the other problem with Wonder Woman, and I think is one of the things that didn't help with 84 was Snyder clearly establishing hardcore why that Wonder Woman had never did nothing between World War I and present day. She just turned her back on humanity. And I'm sorry, once you had that was going to basically screw anything over. And that's why I think Patty Jenkins and Jeff John might have pushed back a little too hard on you know, it was 84, was because they were trying to stick it to Snyder because he had it be, oh, she's this type of person. Just because she lost her man, she just gives up on humanity and turns away.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
You know, my other problem with the Wonder Woman movies was the villains. I felt really let down with
Ares and
Cheetah.
Cheetah, yes. Max Lord kind of at least worked to a degree, but again, it was a Max Lord movie, as people have said.
I totally got to figure out how to do this, but Resident Justice has a question for us. Do you guys think audience are apathetic towards the DC brand? I think Black Adam showed us what the general audience has sort of given up on the DC EU, and I can understand that. How do you make audiences care again? That's a really good question. I do think that they're, like I said, if audience are getting apathetic towards basically superheroes as a whole, there is an opportunity for DC to jump in here, introduce new ideas, not new characters, but less familiar to general people. But they have to do. You can't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't think you need to go in there with the holier than thou Trinity. I think you need to have a mix, and that's why I say the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Harley Quinn. These characters are so important because you can have your goofy there, but have your serious with Superman. You can have your funky, dick and fart jokes with Peacemaker, and Batman can still kick ass. I don't think I see a lot of people saying Harley's like Deadpool. Maybe I just don't read enough Deadpool, but I think there is a much more redeeming quality to Harley than there is to Deadpool. Though I know, like, Deadpool's kind of kicking ass over at Marvel. Like, that announcement with Wolverine coming back and Ryan Reynolds. Oh my God, that like broke the internet. I know that is probably an overused term, but people were so happy. Rightfully so. Like, I get it. I don't know. What do you do about This is so fucking hard. I am
You
so
start with
glad it's not
Superman.
my job.
I think it's important not to overthink this.
Yeah, that's true.
It's in my mind, and I think all of us are doing that. And you know, let's keep it simple. Let's put Superman out there. Let's start. Like, I got no problem. Start over. Just start over. And it's simple as that. Start over and just tell good stories. Like, start over, tell an epic story, and then go from there. I mean, the audience will follow a good story. But I'm going to defend Dwayne Johnson for a second. I don't know, for some reason, some people online are giving this guy a hard time for defending Black Adam and, defending that it's making money. And I give the guy a break. I mean, the guy went to bat for an obscure character that most non-comic readers don't know about. I think he did a fantastic job. I love the movie. My opinion doesn't mean shit. I understand that. But I mean, he went to bat for it, and he's defending it. He's defending the DCU. He wants Superman back. That's the type of spokesman that you want back. You want James Gunn. If I was him, I'd be calling Dwayne Johnson right now and saying, look, you have a role in the DCU moving forward, because however we redefine it or rebirth it or whatever the hell we're going to do, you have a role in it, my friend. You took a bullet for us. You went to bat for us when no one else would. You went to bat for Superman when no one else would. And now some people are shitting all over him. Like, that just drives me crazy. And then you get people like Patty Jenkins that are getting all upset because her garbage script is rejected. That drives me nuts. I mean, her first Wonder Woman makes over 800 million.
Yeah.
And then her second Wonder Woman makes 167 million. I mean, good grief. I mean, that catastrophic. I don't know how you can fail so spectacularly from one movie to the next.
It was day and date, though.
Sorry, I digressed there. I shouldn't have mentioned Patty Jenkins. I didn't want to, set off any nerves. But I mean, have a plan. That's just it. Have a plan and stick to it. DC Discovery, they've never had a plan. They've never had a separate department for the DCU. Let's have some patience and cut them some slack and wait to see what they're going to be putting out. And James Gunn, I say again, he was the best choice amongst all the people that you could choose from. I think he was the best choice you could have. And don't underestimate Saffron, because he brings his own skill set into it as well.
Definitely.
Oh, I agree. I agree completely. But I wanted to say a lot of not all of it, but I do think it would have done much better in the box office had it not been the first movie out of the COVID pandemic. The first movie put on Wonder Woman, or put on HBO Max when they did that day and date. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. Like, as a lazy ass, I liked it. But I know some people that fucks with their money situation. One thing I really like, honestly, that James Gunn's doing, and I'm sure you'll see the videos, he's attacking fans or da-da-da. But he's clapping back, and he's not afraid to. And I think that's really freaking cool. What about you, Eddie?
Yes, I made a video about it too. No, I'm happy that he did it. Again, that's what I like about Gunn. If you're spreading misinformation and false rumors or whatever else, he's gonna call it out, and that's a good thing for DC, because there's lots of people who are grifters.
Yeah, I'm also
lots
live.
of people who do this for profit and all that stuff, so it makes sense, and I'm happy with it. Again, James Gunn can continue that. People call it unprofessional, but if anything, that's saving DC from false rumors and all that other stuff.
And I like, he was calling out the scoopers. I want to remember to talk about this. That's why I put it up. But he was calling out the scoopers first and foremost, which, let's be real, I think we all kind of know that the scooping game is also a little bit of really good guessing, knowing the universe and being a really good guesser. Like, I'm not saying everyone does that. I'm not saying everyone did that, but I'm just saying there is definitely those people out there that will do that. But he also called out saying, that somebody said he didn't like Henry Cavill. And he's like, false. Like, none of that's true. I don't know where you got your sources from, but they're not very good. But then he had to add in, what did he say? Something along the lines of, I got a scoop that you just moved out of your mother's basement or something. Like,
yeah, he did. I read that.
Him clapping back to me is fucking awesome, because I do think that there are too many people out there that start shit like that, and in 5 years we'll still be hearing, well, I heard he didn't like this person. I heard this. I heard this.
Look at
and it does get really annoying.
I do think that a lot of these directors, I mean, Mangold was the first one to really push back and not, and hold his ground. And I think they're getting fed up with all this stuff because I think some of them are even probably fed up given how Kevin Smith was treated during all that. Especially, that's the prime example right there of them guessing, and they were close to the mark, but they were still off. But of course, they were close enough that they're saying, oh, see, we were right, just by moving the goalpost a little bit, so long as they never bring up what they originally claimed. And so it's like they keep thinking, oh, see, we got this right, that means it's going to be gone, and we're right on everything. It's like, no, it means your sources got lucky and you were close enough.
I mean, they really weren't on that one. They said that Tila was going to be a lesbian,
But I could see how, like, thinking, oh, she's going to become She-Man. No, she's going to be the sorceress. But I could see why you would think that. Oh, she's going to have a lesbian relationship. Again, I could see why they would think that because of some of the stuff they have. And that's what I'm saying. They were close to the mark, but not quite there. Or the He-Man's going to step aside. He died. He didn't step aside. Okay, Gary, yes. Kevin was a bit of a prick, but not that much compared to how he was treated.
Oh yeah, and I
far worse than when he gave back.
I also think they're just people. They have a right to stick up for themselves, right? Like
Mangold's doing.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys, Rocky? What do you think about Lobo? Would it be weird? I think it would be weird to see him go from Aquaman to Lobo, but it is a role he was made to play for.
Well, sure it is. But I say again, there are 10,000 characters that can play anybody.
That's
anybody at any given time in any movie anywhere. Period. You don't need Jason Momoa to play Lobo. Do I want him to play Lobo? Short answer, no. Could he play Lobo? Yes. Is there a lot of movies that I wouldn't like that could make $1 billion? Yes. Do I want them made? No. If I had my way, the Joker would have never been made because it doesn't serve the larger narrative of the DCU. Because my bias is I always wanted a plan. For 10 years, I don't understand why Warner Brothers was so damn slow. Why don't you, if you have a formula that works, the MCU worked because they had a plan. It went to Endgame because they had a plan. DC have a plan. Now Jason Momoa wants to play Lobo because what? Because has the guy read a Lobo comic book in his life? No, it's probably his wife randomly picked it up at the comic shop that she happened to accidentally go into looking for a lingerie shop. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, this guy doesn't. I mean, come on, he's a nice guy, sure, but Lobo, yeah. Would he make a great Lobo? Absolutely. But you don't make a decision based on some whim of an actor. I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but he's already been Aquaman. Don't muddy the waters. If you're going to start fresh, this is $1 billion investment. If you're starting on a plan, start new and start fresh. If you're going to go big or go home. I mean, half measures aren't going to cut it. It's like an alcoholic. You're either going to stop drinking or you're not. Pick one.
Yeah, I agree. And I was actually, when I heard the initial news, I was like, I wanted Gal as Wonder Woman. I love that is the first movie when it comes to the DC universe that I have actually like cried. I felt sadness. I felt happiness. I felt joy. I felt everything all in one movie. Like, I'll say this to the end of days, that No Man's Land scene where she's walking up there, even if I just watched the movie a week before, I will get chills and tear up. That is the first movie that I have loved from DC. That's where my emotional attachment to Gal is. But I think the more and more that we talk or think about it, it makes a lot more sense to have the Flashpoint happen or however they're going to do it. Have Ezra Miller as the Flash, bring back another Flash, do something. And start over from scratch and really put the ball forward. Like, I don't want to see Gal go anywhere. I don't. But I also want to look at the picture, the whole picture, I guess is the best way to put it. And get something that Marvel fans have been getting 4 years. Like, it's fucking time.
I should say, I should also add that regarding Lobo, Jason Momoa, I mean, Aquaman, who's a joke in the comic books, he can't sell an Aquaman comic if his life depended on it. I mean, no one can. Jason Momoa, Aquaman is the highest grossing DC movie of all time.
All time.
The guy that talks to fish has the highest DC grossing movie. Come on, Bob. Think about that for a second. Don't tell me they can't do better than that. But yet, on the other hand, Jason Momoa was Aquaman. So if he wants to be Lobo, I'm sure they're going to listen to him. And, you know, what the hell do I know? Hey, man, money talks. If he's going to, if a Lobo movie can make $1 billion, hey, what the hell, I guess.
Or he could be the villain in something. I mean, I could see that too. Like, and it's a lot of, like Robert said in the private check, it's a lot of makeup. It's a lot of this. You could make him look, it still would feel weird to me. Like, but the fact that he made Aquaman cool again, like, is a lot for one person to be able to do. Like, Aquaman was not only the butt of people's jokes, like, there's running gags and, like, Family Guy and shit about this guy. Like, Aquaman was a joke. But he's fucking cool now. Like,
they need Amber
That
Heard
plays
to
on
come back as Wonder
perspective.
Woman.
I still think he's not cool.
You're not cool.
That's true.
my man, right?
No, that was cringe.
Oh my! I didn't think he was.
Listen, I was watching, like, my Aquaman was the Justice League Unlimited cartoon.
The Peter David one, basically.
Yeah, so it's like he can be serious and cool. He doesn't have to be jokey to be cool.
May I? I was just going to say I think the other advantage we have is that unlike even Kevin Feige does not have this much control, the fact that this position allows them, Gunn, to report directly to the top. No one in between to interfere and say, like, oh, well, we got to cater to these people. We got to cater to that. You know, things like that.
Yeah, and I'm less familiar. And I'm less familiar with Safran, but I think
in there for the business side. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
he's there for the
yeah.
I
don't know. I'm excited for what the future holds for sure. What do you guys think about one Batman moving forward? What does that mean for Matt Reeves?
Nothing.
Carrie,
no.
You shush it. No, I'm just kidding. No, no, for real, Carrie. Like, I think you liked the Batman.
I did not like the Batman.
Well, never mind, Bianca.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
you're okay to be wrong, Carrie.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's my problem, and this is going back to, like, I don't want there to be like 10 Batmen going on at once in the movie.
Fair enough. Okay, that's fair. But beyond that, what was wrong with the movie itself?
I don't know. I'm just not a big Robert Pattinson fan. I didn't like how they portrayed the Riddler.
Okay,
I prefer the Riddler from the comics. This was more like a serial killer. He was just
Hot Riddler. Yes, bring in Hot Riddler. Like in Tom King's Killing Time. He was a hot Riddler, and it's crazy to me that I loved it.
He was a dork.
He was a hot Riddler in
Tom
King. In Tom King's Killing Time, that was a hot Riddler. I love Hot Riddler.
But in Matt Reeves, the Batman, he was a dork.
Yeah, he was a dork. But okay, even with that aside, even with bad opinions aside, now, with bad opinions aside, Carrie.
Yeah.
What do you think it means there's only, are we going to get our trilogy from Matt Reeves, or do you think it's going to be something more along the lines of one Batman no matter what, no universe?
If it does well, you'll probably get another. I think you'll
It
get
did well. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the second movie does well, like if it's still even with the new changes happening with the DCU or whatever they're calling it now, if it does well, it's money. They'll do it because it's money.
Capitalism at its finest.
Yeah.
Bianca, you liked the movie.
I liked the movie.
Would you be okay with a Matt Reeves plus a Batman movie, like in main continuity?
Yeah. No, I want a separate. Don't touch the DCU.
Yeah, and I don't think they need to bring, like, we've been told from this movie's inception, from the Batman movie, that this is Earth 2, right? This is a separate universe. And that's okay. I don't mind a few like Black Label type stories. I don't think we should shy away from that completely, because there are different stories to be told. I think this is one of them. You can look at a very like grounded approach on Batman. You can bring in the less fanatical like villains, right? You can bring in like Freeze or something, or Zaz. Like I know I always say Zaz because I think he's so interesting.
Clayface.
See, no, Clayface would be good too for the detective sides. Clayface and Zaz. I love Batman as a detective. That is his best and most ignored asset in live action. Bring that in. Bring in this movie was so good to me because not only did we focus on his detective side, but we brought in the crime lords, and we brought in all of those weird like Godfather-y aspects that I love, or Goodfellas aspect, I guess, a better way to put it. That I love. And this kind of nailed it. Like, me and Bianca just reviewed, it's not out yet, but Batman Begins, right? Because it's kind of a Christmas movie. And it's so fucking campy and cheesy,
don't you mean Returns?
Whatever, yeah.
Batman Begins.
I had to correct you on that one, Tris. I'm sorry, but that was way off the mark.
Way off. But it's like so over the top and crazy that makes me appreciate the grounded reality approach also. Eddie, what do you prefer? Do you prefer camp or do you prefer grounded approach? That's a really good answer.
Do both.
I love grounded, but at the same time, again, I support it being separate. Yes, I want a Batman for the DCU, but again, Matt Reeves stuff is separate because again, the Batman, we want him within a larger world, but I have no problem. Again, we already seen it with the Nolan films, separate, more grounded. The same thing with Matt Reeves, he's doing right now. But again, I definitely I have no problem with 2 Batmans. I definitely don't want 3. But we just go wait and see is. But I'm pretty sure James Gunn's not going to cancel the Matt Reeves stuff. They already have all these TV shows planned and all that stuff for HBO Max. So it wouldn't make sense. But again, they could cancel them, I guess.
Oh, this is a good question. I actually think this could work. Mad Hatter is an awesome character. He really is. And it dives into like that storybook idea. And I think I doubt they would go with it, right? And I know you'd be catering to more comic book fans on that side. But Rocky, do you think that Mad Hatter could be interesting enough for the next movie?
Sure. I don't. Yes. That's definitely. I consider that a wild card pick, but it's the type of wild card pick that I can see James Gunn sort of giving the green light to. And obviously, it's not much of an answer, but it obviously depends on the writing. But right. I think it could really work. And I think it actually relates more to an answer I was going to give on the whole Matt Reeves Batman thing. I wasn't a big fan of the Batman movie, but I got. But
you liked Black Adam. Amazing.
Well, no. What I'm saying is what Matt Reeves Batman, what Robert Pattinson's Batman brings to the table is the fact that he's extremely. I think he's very grounded. I thought that they were completely lacking the dichotomy between him and Bruce Wayne, but it was a year 1 Batman. That's how I justify it to myself.
Yeah.
This is a year man Batman who's really psychologically screwed up. Give me a year 2, year 3, year 4 Batman. He's a little bit more psychologically motivated. He actually wants to have sex with women, and he has more sex with women. He's more of a playboy. He's learning the ropes. I'm serious. He's learning the ropes. He's learning that he's a little bit manipulative, all toward the goal of being the best Batman possible. And all of a sudden, he's got to deal with these godlike beings like Superman, Wonder Woman, and because it's the larger DCU moving in. Have Batman be established as one of the first heroes. We got that. And then if you throw in the Mad Hatter, whose power set potentially, if you elevate it, could even throw a wrench into the icons and the bigger. Like, I'm just saying, it all comes down to the writing. And I've always thought as a comic book reader, and I'm sure all of us here who've read comics are on this panel, I'm sure you all agree that there's nothing worse than going to a movie where they've spent $200-300 million making it, and they missed the point.
Yeah.
Or they thought so small. You know, it reminds me of advice that was given to Greg Rucka when he was writing Superman in the comic books. And Greg Rucka, his Superman run was back in 2008, 2009. I think
Was it good?
But it was well, it could have been better. But part of the advice that Greg Rucka was given was that he was told, remember, Greg, that when you write Superman, you don't have a budget. You can write anything. It's comic books. And back then it made sense. And so with movies, remember that when you're doing a movie now with special effects, you don't have a budget. You don't have a budget. You can write whatever you want. Sky's the limit. So it bothers me when they think so small all the time. Think big with your plots because you have the acting ability and the actors out there that can make it work.
Before we go, can I just
go ahead, and then I want to read this. Go ahead.
I just want to bring up Rocky. Let's not forget, Rucka also gave us one of the best Superman moments, period, in his entire history. That whole issue after Lois got shot. You remember that issue?
Sure, when he was, he got a little upset.
No. I'm talking about that whole issue, him dealing with possibly losing Lois because he wasn't fast enough to stop, to save her from the bullet. That whole issue was a perfect issue that just was, I still say, is one of my favorite issues. So I just wanted to bring that up. It's like, that was a powerful moment.
Well, it's those human moments that's the whole point of bringing the mythological down to the grounded human aspect of it. And that's what, I mean, all that is still fair game. And so that's why I'm saying you can have your Matt Reeves Batman and, look, just because I wasn't a fan of the Batman doesn't mean I can't love the character moving forward. I might not look. There's lots of times I might not like Batman year 1, but I might love him in year 4. You know what I mean, or year 2. I mean, there's never say never.
Right.
Let me get this real quick. Anonymous. I told you guys, quit doing it anonymous so I can say thank you personally.
I don't anonymous it.
I know, but I've had a couple come through and I'm like, I just want to say thank you. Batman Returns is way better than the Batman. I disagree, but I do love them both.
Hard disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. It's too much camp for me, but it's still so fun. Like the things that throw me off with that is like Penguin talking about flipper fucking girls. Like it's too much. But yeah, I do love them both. And I want to actually bring this comment up. Because I get this on occasion. Mostly, I will say I get some questions or comments like this. Or read, nothing against you at all. I just want to use you as an example. I apologize. But mostly when I put like, if I liked, Son of Kal-El, and I'll put it on my community post, like this was a really good spot. I love this interaction. I get it mostly with that. But I have to say, when it comes to that, I completely 100% disagree. 100% disagree. Because if you take a look at superheroes now, even at DC, there's always the will they, won't they with Selena and Batman. Lois and Superman are betrothed to each other. Mara and Arthur are they're not king and queen anymore, but they would be if it was a movie.
And that's why Batman and Wonder Woman are perfect together, always, forever. And
boot that crazy.
Just ignore her. But I completely disagree. Those are the I love action in my comics, and I know Spider-Man and Mary Jane, a great example. This is crazy to me that people think this because, like Rocky just said about the Wonder Woman thing, it's those human moments that matter. It's those moments that you can aspire to be or relate with. Lois dying in Clark's arm. I can guarantee I would be crying. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Eddie? Do you think people care about the love lives of superheroes? That was a great answer again.
Come on, Gambit and Rogue for life. Come on.
Yeah, but
And he's just like, I'm fucking bored. Okay. All right. Good answer. Okay. What do you think when it comes to that, Carrie? Do you think people care about those interactions, or is it just all action?
Well, as a Marvel fan, it's always been rooted a lot in their humanity and their like personal lives too, besides the hero. I mean, you look at Spider-Man, there's a great example of that. It's like his relationships at school, his relationship with Mary Jane, that all comes together and what makes him the person he is.
Peggy and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just wanted to butt that in there saying Peggy and Steve. People adore that pairing.
Steve, and that was in both the movies. In both the movies, Steve and Diana's relationship
was... yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
She was bringing up Marvel, though, so I was trying to point out Marvel.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I know Harley's story is absolutely 100% based on a relationship. And then she, gets free, moves on, and gets in another relationship, which is the one I hope we see on TV, but I digress. Almost all superhero comics are based around relationships. And like I know this has come up a lot lately, but that's just how it is. I think Eddie glitched on us. You okay now? He's still glitching. I think he's trying to fix it. Oh no.
Oh no.
How is Superman a punk? He's a boy scout.
It's Joseph.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. What do you think? Do you think relationships are an integral part?
I didn't know you asked me a question. No, they are. I think lots of people do care what end up with each other and stuff like that. There's shipping and all that stuff. People with fan art. It's a big culture.
Oh yeah.
I rarely care about it, but at the same time, I'm just saying, well, I see the pattern of behavior. I see how they glance at each other, all the stuff they set up. Maybe they go on dates as regular people, without the secret identities, all that stuff. That stuff is important, I guess. It develops your character. It makes you resonate with these heroes and know they're all beings. They want to, date, have partners, get married, have kids. That's stuff we can relate to. Being
have friends,
humans, all that stuff. But have friends, go to parties, days, or anything else like that. I know it's important. It's important. I think I agree with that. That is an important factor for superheroes and comics.
I think those who make those complaints are just saying that because those are the types who go in there just for mindless action. Is what I think. I think those who make those complaints are the ones who just want,
and that's fair,
and don't care about the character stuff. Or actually better theory is that they don't register the stuff, even though they see it
until it's queer. Just saying.
One more time about it is that the character stuff that makes up a good movie, I don't think they register, because usually there's sometimes where if you see it, if it's bad, it's going to stick out and you're not going to like it. If it's well done, for some people, it just goes right over their head because they're not paying attention to it. They just want to wait for the action. It might be the stuff you'll fast forward through, but it's not bad where they're like, oh God, that was shit. What the hell? Get rid of that. So I think that's why they don't realize you want it, because you want to be able to ignore it and not remember it, as opposed to it sticking in your head.
Yeah, and I get that. I just think that it humanizes, and not just romantic relationships.
Right.
Like, there's something so great about World's Finest when you've got Batman and Superman's interactions. Those two being friends is a very integral part to that storyline. Like, it's not just, it's about all the people around you and being able to have good, storylines develop, not be rushed. I know we've had instances of that for sure. Tim Drake, just saying.
Yeah, that one, but it's very true.
And I think it's, Robert said, it could just, they want mindless action. I also think that we grew up in a Disney princess era, in a era where there was always romance in it. There was always, and it was just so second nature that but many people don't notice it until it's a queer relationship. I'm not being mean, but it's just kind of what I've noticed when it comes to people. And then, of fucking course, it's woke, but I won't go into that. That's for a totally different stream. But I think it's more noticeable to some people because it's maybe a little bit more jarring to them and maybe something that you have to get used to. I personally don't give a shit either way. I want my Har Livey. I want my Har Livey. I want my Har Livey. Maybe one day. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's going to work too, because I don't think we necessarily need a Harley Ivy movie right away because we have it in the cartoon. But I will say this, I think it can work. And I just want to point out a couple of things that I think a lot of people sort of fail to realize or maybe appreciate, that all is not lost just because you have a movie that doesn't maybe do as well as you hope. Remember that, and I got some of the things up behind me there. Remember that the Batman Begins in 2005 only made 358.8 million at the box office, and you know how well the Dark Knight Rises did, 900, just short of $1 billion. Dark Knight Rises hit 1.08 million. The relationship factors and the character development in the subsequent movies were exceptional. You look at Birds of Prey, you look at the original The Suicide Squad movie, which introduced Harley Quinn. And then you look at the subsequent movies, which maybe didn't do as well, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have done as well. And you look at Black Adam, even Dwayne Johnson tweeted, he compared Black Adam to the Captain America First Avengers movie, and he was criticized for that, but I'm going to defend him a bit because I actually agree with him, because, he's developing something. He's introducing characters that you can have the character development after. And the thing is, one thing about the general audience, we know two things about the general audience for sure. Number one, they don't read comic books. That's a fact. Right. They don't read comic books. And number two, they'll believe anything if the story is good enough. They don't give a rat's ass if the second movie doesn't exactly comply with the first one, because they've already forgotten about it. And maybe I'm being a little bit overly, and I don't mean to insult the general movie-going audience, but they just want to be entertained, and they'll be entertained by as you said, Tristan, the character quality, the character development. And if they feel that it's a good story, we all have headcanon. When we love a story, I'll figure out a way to make it work. Even Wonder Woman 1984, which I will shit all over. I was touched by that scene where she lost Steve Trevor, where he said goodbye to her and she ran and she got her powers back running down the street. There were moments that touched me, that I could feel the human side of it, despite the fact that overall I didn't think the movie worked. I say this all the time, just because it's a bad movie doesn't mean there aren't moments that I will love in that bad movie, but that doesn't mean that I want a universe shaped around it. And so, but that's where the plan comes in. And that's what James Gunn is really getting at when he says, look, we have a plan. We're not going to make everyone happy, but we need a plan before we start allocating money to all these massive amounts of different types of movies. We need to have a plan first so that it's not scattershot.
Good riddance, Patty Jenkins.
Woohoo!
Aw, poor Patty. I like Patty.
No, she messed up. You don't do that.
I would have to say that.
How'd she mess up?
If what the Hollywood Reporter claims is true, because again, we don't know what parts were true or not. But if she really did send that email saying it was that Wikipedia article, that was dumb. That would told you she was full of herself to even think about doing that. But again, that doesn't throw out there. It might be wrong. It might be something they just heard she did and reported out. That could be one of the half-truths or false that Gunn was bringing up. We don't know.
And again, I don't want to spread rumors or anything, so take it with the smallest grain of salt possible. I was told there was not, from the one person I had that told me all about Black Adam, that I told you guys everything to a T, everything I got right, told me that there was not even a script for that. That was
what? They finished it, didn't they?
No, but I can't verify. I can only tell you that this person gave me good scoops before. That's all I can say.
Carrie, just to correct, she did not. From what I understand, that was one of the cases of, much like with Ant-Man, all that stuff, creative differences stepped aside.
Oh,
from what I remember, there was that. Was it a few months ago where they're like, "Hey, Patty and Jeff Johns are writing the script right now."
That could
And then
be.
Jeff Johns is
Again,
working
like I
on,
said, that's why I didn't make a video about it. That's why I didn't announce, make a big deal about what I was told. I was told there was no script. It was done to make her look. What was told was
and that's why
to make her look bad.
Out.
What's that?
I mean, she
that's
messed
why
up
Gunn
with
keeps coming out to
1984.
clarify things.
Yeah. Wait, how'd she mess? Oh, she messed up 1984 because you don't like it? Is that what you mean?
She fought for those 2 long intros that did not need to be there. And so I do not want her to create another movie. Because if she...
Overkill much.
I'm pretty sure she does worry about character development, but she ruined it in 1984. Where did it show that she was flying before?
Oh, well, that's because she just learned.
Yeah, but in the Justice League, she never flew. She could have.
Wonder Woman can fly. What?
Well, she can glide on air currents at a minimum, depending on which iteration you believe. She has there's so much mixed signals in comics. She has an
didn't do that
invisible
in Batman
plane.
v Superman 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it was Zack Snyder.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. What she put in her own movie in 1984 conflicts with Zack Snyder's version of Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
It's not coherent. It makes no sense.
That's true.
And then if
I agree with Bianca.
Bringing back Steve Trevor because you didn't get over his death. It's been years, and then it's the whole, oh my gosh, I never went back to being Wonder Woman, I just left humanity and all that stuff. But then in 1984, she did it again in 1984.
And I was the funny thing is I was actually told that they were going to try to bring him back for 3.
Yeah,
like you can't keep doing that. You can't keep doing that. Bye, Raymond. You definitely can't keep doing that. It's. I love Steve Trevor and her, but I also think she has other really good relationships. I don't.
Bruce Wayne, exactly.
Okay,
I agree.
And by the way, that wasn't Tristan. When you said you love Steve Trevor in her, that technically wasn't Steve Trevor in her.
Oh, here we go.
You know what? That is
somebody
true.
else in her, repeatedly in her.
The fact that they put him back in the body though was weird to me. Like, had he been dead. Like what they did, like how she took the original inspiration from that 80s movie. I forget what it's called. They didn't put the person back in the body. It feels a little wrong in all the ways possible. Like, but I do like the movie, but it does feel wrong. Like, it's weird. It's weird.
It would have been less weird if they did what they did in the original Linda Carter TV show and just had it like a relative in the future.
Yeah. It was so weird. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You got a tip.
Oh. Let me
this
go.
One actually, they want to be anonymous, it looks like.
Anonymous works. Hey, you butthead, whoever you are. I get it. It's, you know what? I can respect it. I can respect it because some people want to. I get it. Okay. Wait. Let me read it first.
Sorry. Oh, I thought you said. Never mind.
No, I do appreciate you though, whoever you are, my anonymous person. Anonymous works. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Merry Christmas?
No, because he keeps doing it anonymously, and I can't say thank you without just saying thank you. But I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a freaking awesome New Year. I love it. And we're going to do some fun Christmas stuff in the next coming weeks. But I want to ask this question to everyone. I don't. It was Robert's question, but we're still going to answer it. What characters could you see Gunn giving individual? Like, I'm not talking necessarily, at least for me here, not the Trinity. Besides that.
Yeah.
Not what you want, but what do you think he could bring to the screen? Carrie, go for it.
Green Lantern.
That's a great one.
Well, that's a good question too. That's a good question because
I think he would do Guy.
Or he could do Jon Stewart. He could just kind of like maybe have Hal has been around, but now Jon Stewart's stepping in because I think Gunn is really good at building that like space universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be something different than what they've been doing over there at DC. And I think he could.
Why couldn't they? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, why couldn't they introduce one like John, right?
Yeah.
And have him go to Oa, and have people like Hal there, and very similar to how they did it in the Green Lantern movie, but well done, right? They could establish, the cosmic side of DC by doing that.
Exactly, and then you can have your Lobo and everything else.
Has he talked Green Lantern at all?
I don't know.
Not that I know of.
No,
Yeah,
not
same.
that I know of either. But and Tavia, I'm sorry, but really, Gunn does not show anything that he would want the Super Sons. I hate to say that. That's more what you would want.
Okay, Eddie, you're allowed to talk. I forgot about this. The Jon Stewart HBO Max. Like, Eddie has a lot of really good points in the chat, but he just is shy, I guess. I did forget about this. They were retooling that. I don't know whether or not it'll go through, but maybe that'll be the introduction, and then we'll get a big budget movie, something along those lines. Go ahead, Rocky. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't want to, Eddie, man. We need to hear more from you, my friend. I got no problem keeping my big mouth shut. Go ahead,
I
Eddie.
can see that. Eddie, who would you like to see?
No, who
would you like to see? Who do you think is in in that little toy box and James Gunn had? Another great answer.
You got to type it, maybe.
Glitch again. We can't
type it. And we'll say it out loud.
Yeah, I think I am glitching.
There we go.
There we go. We got ya.
You hear me now?
We hear you.
Slight delay, but yes.
You're good.
Oh my god, yeah, what's going on? But no, someone on Twitter when he said no, Superman is gonna be a big priority. Someone said it. What about Green Lantern? He said no, it will be important in the future. And again, yes, they are having that Jon Stewart HBO Max series. I can't wait for that. It was supposed to be about the Green Lanterns overall through the decade. But, it is what it is when it comes to that. When it comes to the Green Lantern movie, I don't know anything about that. I mean, James Gunn has been teasing some people, so I guess I can count that. Maybe he wants that in the future. Mr. Terrific, Jonah Hex, Lobo, Batmite. He's really pushing Batmite. Is
he really? That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited for that. Again, the obscure characters will flesh out and expand more on the universe. From the top of my head, I can't even think about who he would bring in. But yeah, Batmite. I mean, he teased him on Peacemaker. He teased Green Arrow on Peacemaker. Toyman on Peacemaker. If you really pay attention to Peacemaker, he mentions a lot of people. And I'm pretty sure Green Lantern is one that, not Green Lantern, but Green Arrow as well was a big one that people want to see with Black Canary. I don't know if that movie's still going to happen or not, but that would be a cool addition. We just got to wait and see.
Yeah. And I didn't know he was teasing Batmite. That could be cute. Maybe like in a side thing. Probably not. I don't know if it would work in the bigger picture.
Remember
but
that dialogue?
No.
In Peacemaker, he brought up Batmite. He actually said.
Oh no! Yeah, I remember that. I'm just saying I don't know. I don't know if they could do it in the bigger picture, but it could be like like how they're doing holiday special or something cute like that. Like we just had Nightmite in Nightwing, and it was freaking adorable. Just a cutesy little story. I loved it. I love seeing those cutesy things. But what about you, Rocky? Who do you think he could bring in?
I got two wild cards, which I don't think are that much of a wild card, but I think it's a mistake to bring Supergirl in. I think she's been tainted too much with the CW, 16 years of abject misery and failure and loss of money. I think she's done. I think she's finished. Let her die a slow, painful death. I don't care.
Whoa.
Sorry, Kara, I love you in comics, but bring in Power Girl and Huntress. Bring in Power Girl and Huntress.
Yeah.
Bring in Earth 2 in general.
Exactly. Well, even if it's not Earth 2, whatever. Bring in Power Girl and Huntress. And now I realize that Power Girl is as a potentially culturally problematic character with the breasts. I get that. And the space, I get it. But all the more reason why it's like a Deadpool. Make her a little bit funny. She's sarcastic. approach Power Girl like a Palmiotti Amanda Connor run. Give her an attitude and give her the breasts. Give her this. I mean, go with it. Go with it, but take it seriously so it possesses verisimilitude. Do it. Go that route and go with Power Girl and Huntress. I think it would be great, and I think that would work. I think that would just be wonders. The other thing is the Crime Syndicate. Go with a. Now I realize this is off the wall, but I mean, have Ultraman. Imagine the Justice League. All of a sudden, they wake up. They're on a different planet. All of a sudden, you got. Imagine these iconic characters dealing with their polar opposites in a movie format for 2.5 hours. Oh my God! I mean, you could just have so much fun with that. Play with it. I mean, that's my suggestion.
That would be amazing. Did you enjoy Huntress in Birds of Prey?
No. Well, personally, no. I didn't. Look, I gave it. No, I didn't. The Huntress
that wasn't Huntress.
No, I didn't. I thought that for the movie that they were making, it worked for the particular movie itself. But no, that was not. That was not a Helena Bertinelli that I would be a big fan of. I don't think she was in good enough shape. I don't think she was a good enough skilled fighter. Like I'm more of a comic book purist. Yeah. That's why I like Ben Affleck's Batman. You need good fight choreography. You need good. I don't know. It never felt right. I love the actress. She's a beautiful, talented actress, but she was too male. They played her too. It was devoid of femininity. That entire show, with the exception of Black Canary, was devoid of the type of femininity that. Look, I'm a Purian fanboy. You know, I'm a heterosexual, white, cis, male, whatever the hell that means. I think I know what it means. I think I've been told that's what I am, so I'll go with it. So, whatever. I've always been told that like it's an insult. Apparently, it's a crime to love women. I go, okay, sorry.
No way. I love the women. Like I would love Gotham City Sirens, but that's not my answer. I'll tell you, as long as no one steals it. Bianca, what do you think? Another great answer.
I'll answer until she's
Go ahead, go for it.
First, either Mr. Miracle.
Stop it! That was my fucking answer! I didn't think there was anybody that was going to take that.
Hey, I was showing the book. You didn't see me show the book?
No, that's not fair.
The other one would have been Booster Gold.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think Gunn would be the type. Well, they already got the movie coming out.
No, but I'm at the Ted.
Ted Core. Yeah, but we don't know if Ted's going to appear in this movie or not.
True.
Maybe.
But like I said, though, but Mr. Miracle, I definitely do see it. The type of person Gunn would love to see exist.
Yes.
I would love that.
I don't know if the rest of the New Gods, but definitely Mr. Miracle.
You could go New Gods. It would take some time, definitely. But you could. It would just take a lot of setup. Let me get this super chat real quick. Anonymous, I swear, whoever you are, thank you so much. How much faith you guys have in Gunn, or that Gunn will find the voices of the DC characters without making them sound like, Guardians of the Galaxies.
A lot.
I do.
I say a lot.
I think Peacemaker made me realize he can do that. Like, those characters all had, and Vigilante was definitely not Vigilante from the comics, that's for sure. But other than that, he took those characters and he did a great job. I think we'll get more Amanda Waller. I think we'll get all of it, but I don't think it's going to be all Guardians of the Galaxy.
Joseph. Yes, Joseph, he is. If it's the only thing he's not involved with is the comics. He's involved with everything else.
Thank you, Anonymous. I appreciate you.
But yeah,
Bianca, are you there now?
Yeah, I was always here.
What characters could you see James Gunn bringing in? Like obscure character? Not what you want him to do. What characters could you see James Gunn bringing in that he hasn't yet?
Well, from what I've been seeing as tweets, he does not mind bringing in Justice League Dark or Etrigan.
Yes!
He has been posting that.
Zatanna, yeah. Constantine again.
Yeah. And maybe Wonder Woman in the Justice League Dark for a little cameo would be cool.
Yes.
I got one other question to ask. Do you think Gunn is
I didn't get to answer.
Well, sorry. I just want to ask quickly. This is in
Go ahead,
position
go
what
ahead.
Bianca was saying. Do you think Gunn is going to quash that Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves?
There was somebody asking about it, and he
No.
did not
No,
respond.
they'll keep it probably separate like the Batman.
They
That'll
better.
make money.
It's
That's all I
so
was
dumb
gonna
dumb.
ask. So, okay,
Yeah,
Trish,
that'll make
what's
money.
Your answer? What's your answer, Tris?
I mean, it was Mr. Miracle, but whatever. Everyone knows my favorite character is Mr. Miracle, but you answered that anyway.
Say Barda.
I got a question for the women in the chat here.
Sure.
And for the women, like I've already said, I'm a Purian fanboy. I personally feel like I already stated my bias. I love Power Girl. If they're gonna do a Power Girl iteration, I want her to have big breasts. I'm not shy about
Me
that.
too.
If they're gonna do a Zatanna, I want to see that gorgeous. I want to see those sexy legs with those skimpy panties, with the hat. I want that.
Fishnets.
The sexuality. I personally feel that the sexuality of female superheroes has been de-emphasized
Yes.
in the movies. It's been de-emphasized. And I think they should do a 180 and say, enough of this. Now, this is obviously, I mean, full disclosure here. I want that. I'm a Purian white cis male. And I'm thinking to myself, well, even if I was a lesbian, wouldn't I want sexy women? Like, if we're going to do a Harley Ivy movie, I better see some skin.
Yeah.
I mean, I better see some sexuality. I better see some innuendo. I better see some actual, like push the envelope a little bit. Or am I wrong on that? Or is that offensive?
No.
Like, I'm just curious.
Because if it was Nightwing, I want the ass in the skin tight outfit.
And I agree. Like, the thing is it's not necessary. Of course, it's objectifying in its own way, but I also think that everyone can appreciate beauty. Whether you're straight, you're lesbian, you're bi, it doesn't matter where you fall on the sexuality scale. We appreciate beauty when we see it. And there's always something, like, a woman's body is one of the most beautiful things. And to have that, and it's also empowering at the same time. I'm extremely girly, and I don't care to, like, get rid of that. That's something I love. I love my feminine side. Once you embrace that femininity and have confidence behind it, it's a very empowering thing. And I would love to see Harley go through an arc where she realizes something along the same lines, and when she's falling in love with Ivy. And I don't want, like, I like G. Willow Wilson's run right now, but it is so, Ivy is so covered up. So covered up. And it's a good book. It is a good book, but there's something so wonderful about a woman being confident in herself to the point where we see a little bit of maybe booty, some long legs. I want Liz Zatanna having the fishnets or canary. Yes, I want that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think there are some like SJW types. Like, I hate to use that word because it's lost meaning, but you know what I mean. The ones that not hate beauty, but want to desexualize things. And I don't think that's necessary. I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman being just fucking confident in her beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you have to see how weird this sounds, right? So we're doing a Power Girl auditions. We specifically want double D's over here. It's going to sound pretty weird, so they're not going to do that. They're just going to get an actress.
Yeah. Now there's
And
always
it's
been a
gonna
casting couch.
be like B, C at best.
Actually, remember Blinky Productions? Remember him? He did
I have
that,
no
and he
idea
got
who
a
that
great
They did
fan
for one of
film
the
guy.
Pirates movie
Well,
too.
he's a fan film guy. Of course he's going to care.
Bianca, they typecast all the time. They typecast all the time looking for voluptuous women or some, I want somebody 5'6". Oh yeah. They're still typecasting.
When they were casting the mermaids for one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, they had specifications about their breasts.
Yeah. Or you have to have.
How long
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
that been?
Absolutely. A couple of years. Well, less than 10. But yeah, you've got to. The one thing that's wonderful about women that are flat is you can always add. and they will do that. You know what I mean? Like, even if all you have are some mosquito bumps, they can make it happen. The magic of Hollywood. It's not weird.
But if you
As
change
much
a woman's
as
body with like Photoshop, that's considered a bad thing for you to do. They did the same with Captain Marvel. They got her a stunt double for her butt, and they also photoshopped her boobs.
right. And did she say anything about it? Did
didn't
her
like
movie
it.
make $1 billion?
Yeah, but not because of that. It's because it's a Marvel
Yeah.
movie.
And because there was a
People don't care what her
biggest
butt or her
Avenger
boobs
movie.
look like. It's a Marvel movie.
Well, can I ask you women? I want to ask you women a question specifically because for example, like when I see a movie with Superman, the fact that Superman Henry Cavill has way more muscles than I do, and he's better looking, and he's a drop
Well, that's
dead
because of
gorgeous
steroids
human
and
being.
dehydration.
No, well, yeah, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I don't feel offended by the fact that he's better looking and more muscular than me, and I'm not. It doesn't. And so my question is it really something that does it bother a lot of women? That do you really need to feel that you need to have a person a woman that looks exactly like you? And you know, I don't know what you guys look like, and not
there hasn't been a woman who looks like me in the movies.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like I've never ran into a woman, at least in my real life, that I've physically met that has ever said to me, "Well, I hate that superhero movie because that woman weighs 30 pounds lighter than I do." Like I've never heard that criticism before from anybody ever, and so it's just the whole. I don't understand Hollywood's inclination to sort of avoid sexualizing their superheroes, because that's exactly what comic books do, and every time they stick to the source material, they generally tend to do pretty well. I don't know.
For me, it's just they're afraid of probably backlash from the loud minority. But no, you shouldn't feel offended because you're much healthier than Henry Cavill was in the movie playing Superman. Don't do steroids and make sure you drink water.
And you know the thing is they'd have what bugs me, the hypocritical part is, I haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder, but didn't they put him like bare ass naked or something very close to it?
Yes.
And it was a guy who did it. It was Zeus who did it, not the ladies. Now the ladies ogled, but they did.
Yeah,
the
the ladies
ladies did not. The ladies did not humiliate him, like despite people saying, "Oh, the ladies humiliated him." No, they didn't. It was a guy who did it.
Yeah, but regardless, if that's okay, what you do for one, you have to do for the other, right? I'm okay with both of them. I'm okay with both of them. Let me see. I'm okay with both of them because I think a lot of people that are not are self-conscious.
Exactly.
Of course, I have my issues. I have body dysmorphia and stuff, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Oh, I forgot I was looking for Smeller.
What? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I remember this.
That's so silly to me. That's so silly.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
apparently that was fake. That was fake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was going to be fake. Apparently, they said it was a pregnancy thing. Like, she literally gave birth, and that's what her body became like afterwards.
Oh, okay. Well,
and
regardless,
I've heard of boobs doing that and stomachs for women. I've never heard butts before.
Hips.
But
because your hips widen.
Yeah, and I'm like, interesting.
Well, my pick, since Robert took mine, would be Canary and Green Arrow, and I would love to see Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy in that part. Oh, that would be so. I know he's a little older now, but still, you could give him that mentorship role if he's getting a little bit up there in age. He would be great. That's another person born to play that role. Looks exactly like I picture Oliver would look. And they're a great like power couple. So you could work on so many different dynamics with that.
I want Green Arrow to say, call Batman a bat Nazi. I demand
it. we need our crazy liberal superhero just like we need our conservative Hal. You know, like you need to have a wide range of voices
as well to be a conservative.
Yeah, and even like I don't know if it's Jeremy Adams writing or what, but I've also noticed that Flash is very conservative too, in his values.
Wally's always been conservative.
Okay, well that's fair.
The panel, he was being demeaned for it, and I'm like, yo, yeah, I get he's a conservative, but you didn't have to go on hard on him, bro. He leave him alone.
Like, if you think about it, you always hear this woke stuff, but a lot of the characters are very conservative in their values. Like the only one we don't have who doesn't even have his own book is liberal Green Arrow.
Yeah. Well, I just want to quickly. I feel compelled to say something that I've always generally been in my own life, generally conservative. I voted in Canada here. I voted for the Liberal Party a number of times. But I've been mostly conservative most of my life. I'm 53 years old. Okay. But let me say this. I've read Jeremy Adams. I love Jeremy Adams' Flash. But I think it's kind of sad that in my personal view, anytime a superhero is portrayed as having a stable family life with a stable love life with children, I don't know why people assume that's conservative. I have lots of liberal friends that are perfectly happily married. They got beautiful children. They're happy, and they're not conservative. So I think that, but I understand why, and I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not changing this. I'm not changing this debate into something else. I'm just saying that really, I mean, I think that there's a lot of in the ongoing culture war and the culture nonsense that's going on. I think that there's a lot of assumptions that are made that are just false, quite frankly. Look, let's be honest. Everybody wants their superheroes to be single and dating, right? Because Batman's more interesting when he's single. Clark Kent's more interesting when he's single, vowing for Lois, but maybe playing the field. Peter Parker's more interesting when he's sleeping with Black Cat, but pining for Mary Jane, right? I mean, this is just it's the nature of things, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that when you settle them down, that one person is either one political stripe or the other. And
that's true.
Kind of unfortunate that we've reached a point in our ongoing
it's
debate.
It's stereotypical, and I walked right into that. I apologize. I didn't. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, no, I'm not faulting you for it. We've all been there.
I said Wally West was very conservative, and he's really not. But you're right; it is just the stableness. It's how people are portrayed in media, right?
And he has
it's
said in the comics that he is conservative.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I was saying that.
Okay, Tavia, thank you so much. My pick would be Jonathan Samuel Kent, Superboy, as his little 10-year-old self. And Damian Wayne Robin, mostly because this would finally give DC the message that teenage Jonathan Kent is a failure, needs to go away. I disagree about the second part, but I definitely think we could see the Super Sons eventually. That would be super fun, and I would absolutely love it. But I do like Son of Kal-El also. I think, at least for now, both can exist and we can enjoy them both.
And Tavia, the question was not what you want, but what do you think Gunn
Oh, that's
would
okay,
do?
though. It's still fun to talk about.
I know, but...
All right, guys.
Yeah.
No, I get it. All right, guys, we are going to wrap up. Carrie, what do you have going on this week?
Well, we're going to have to see because I'm feeling like crap, so I didn't get any videos done, but hopefully I can get out some stuff regarding some manhwa I've been reviewing, which is South Korean comics.
Which ones?
You'll see.
Dun dun dun.
And I have a couple of indie comics, including Born on Blood 3 and
yes, that's awesome. You're gonna review it?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Wait,
I'm gonna review it.
Born of Blood.
I'm done. Feeling good right now.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
I
actually have my review of that coming out this week too.
Oh, nice. You're
wait
for mine.
just out of curiosity, did you enjoy it?
I did.
It was the best issue. Yeah, I really thought it was good.
I liked it better than the second one.
Yeah, same. I definitely did. Rocky, what do you have going on this week?
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, I had a statue almost fall down here. But anyways, I'm just honestly, I'm focused on Christmas shopping and family related activities. I'm just doing my normal DC comic book reviews. I'm doing an indie comic review probably maybe tonight or later this week. But for the most part, I'm just focusing on family. It's getting close to Christmas, and
how conservative are you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, if I could have one wish for everybody, it would be to have a loving family, as I all hope you do. Spend time with family, and as much as we all love YouTube, and we have fun with it. But the most important thing is family and friends, and I hope that for everyone to have a wonderful Christmas holiday. And don't forget that you can always go back and do another YouTube video at any time. But Christmas is Christmas, and you can't always do things when you want. So sometimes you got to prioritize, and so I encourage everybody to do that because. Thank you for asking, and by the way, Nerdette, I thank you. I want to thank you, Tristan, because I know that you've had problems with YouTube, and I regret that, and I wish you didn't have that. But I will say that every time I've been on your show, I credit you for you're always so kind to me and polite, and you're always so respectful, and you've put me on some of your lists for. I know you listen to a lot of my reviews. I want to thank you for that personally. Thank you so much. I love your channel. I love what you do. I think you've been railroaded,
thank you.
and like seriously, I think you've been railroaded, and I've defended you before, and I'll continue to do so. You're the voice of reason, and even when you're not, you have an explanation as to why, and not everyone has that. And so, having said that, yeah. So and by the way, I've been trying to get Tristan. I got a whole list of topics. I want to get Tristan. I want to just give a preview. I want to do a She Boom He Boom YouTube series of videos that I have in plan that I want to discuss with Tristan. I know she's game for it, and we're going to be doing that. I'm hoping in the new year. I just got to get Tristan's permission on some of the topics, and I'm hoping we're good to go on that.
Yeah, that's going to be so fun. I'm excited. The thing is your channel is so I love your channel. I love waking up on Tuesday morning before stream and listening to you and Jace review comics. I think it's so. There's a lot of channels that are comic book channels, but aren't really. They're really drama channels. And if you go check out Rocky from Comic Boom, you're not going to get the drama. You're going to get real honest, different ideas on how they felt about comics. And I think that's so refreshing. But yes, I love that message. It's wonderful. Bianca, do you have anything going on in your channel this week?
I was, but stuff happened. So now I'm going to have to try next week. Which is technically this week. Also, put a close up on my picture.
Oh, your new avatar girl.
Yeah, that's totally me. Yeah,
it's so pretty.
Yeah,
it's so pretty. Is that your commission?
Yes.
It's so good.
More done for Christmas.
I love it. It's so good. Eddie, are you functioning?
Yes, I am.
What do you have? Okay, what do you have going on this week?
I never have a plan. My eyes and ears are everywhere looking for drama, looking for controversy, looking for something to talk about, mostly on the DC side. But again, I don't have a plan. It just comes and I just talk about it. I'm pretty sure something might come up later, not tomorrow. It is what it is. I'm definitely happy to be here for the first time. It's a privilege to be here. It's for the first time ever on the stream. People are like, "Oh, Eddie, I need to say something." Like, I'm not really used to talk, especially on other streams. Not trying to. But no, it's been here to talk about DC and talk about just speculate what might happen in the future. It's all good fun. I mean, even when it comes like the worst scenario, I'm still gonna be a DC fan no matter what.
I think that's awesome. Robert, what about you?
I got a couple of videos in the can. I just finished uploading most of them. A lot of them was Dead Guy, going still over Superman, Batman. And at least one was Raymond going over DC Universe versus Masters of the Universe. Obviously, Bianca and I are still having our Hulk stuff as well. We're constantly recording. As far as that, I'm getting more and more into doing the streaming, like I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Tristan, I'm interested to seeing how you're going to be doing going forward with the rest of Arkham Origins. How long does it take you to beat Bane, I wonder?
Probably way too long. Way too long, but it'll still be fun.
It took me quite a while to get through it myself.
Yeah, but it's still so fun. I love that game.
So do I.
Yeah, it's underrated.
Yes, yeah. It really is.
Was it rated teen?
Yeah, so make sure you guys check out everybody's channel. I'll add Robert's after the stream so you guys can check out his also. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.